Welcome to STEM NOLA. My name is Dr. Calvin Mackey, and I'm happy to have you all tuning in. As a little background, we founded STEM NOLA 7 years ago to expose and inspire and engage communities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In the last 7 years, we've engaged over 50,000 K-12 students, over 12,000 families, and over 1,500 college students and STEM professionals. One thing that I'm proud to say is that we've put over $1 million in the hands of college students over the last 7 years serving as college interns with STEM NOLA, going out and engaging the community. So thank you for tuning in. Parents, thank you for believing in STEM NOLA and trusting us with your most prized possession, your child, your scholar. STEM NOLA believe that either we're training ourselves from the neck up or the neck down. In the 21st century, our children will only have one or three options. Either they're gonna take something, break something, and/or make something. And if we don't give them the skills and education to make something, like make a living, make a life, make a difference, it only leaves them with the two options that we see on the news every night, and that's to take and break. I don't want that for my two children, and I know you don't want that for yours. And that's why we're here today to expose our children to the possibilities of the 21st century. This is my friend. This is Alpha. Alpha is a humanoid. A humanoid is a robot that tries to act like a human. This humanoid has 9 servos and can do pretty much anything physically that a human can do. This is our competitor in the 21st century. Alpha can actually do push-ups. Alpha can even show off. And Alpha can even dance. And like any superhero, Alpha has her own music. This is the machine. And the automatic machine in the 21st century will displace many workers. In the aftermath of COVID, you have to believe that there are many companies out there saying never again will we allow a pandemic or something that happened in nature shut us down. So COVID has exacerbated the possibilities of machines displacing people. If you're competing against Alpha, you will not win. The only way we defeat Alpha is by developing our heart and developing our head, training ourselves from the neck up such that we can control the robots so that the robots will not control us. That's why we're here. That's why STEM NOLA exists. That's why your parents want to make sure that you all participate in events like this so you can know the possibilities of the 21st century. Again, I'm Dr. Calvin Mackey, and I want to say thank you for tuning in. Now let's get busy innovating, creating, and making with STEM NOLA. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mackey, for that warm welcome. Hi, you guys. My name is Roijairrian Bowman. I am one of the operations coordinator here at STEM NOLA. Today I'll be your facilitator for today and for the physics of sound. But first, I'd like to introduce you to our architect, Ryland Aurburn. Ryland.
Slide. So I'm going to talk about sound today and try and put it, we'll start with kind of a general introduction to it, and then towards the end, I'll start talking about a little bit how we, as architects, think about sound. So sound is a form of energy that's transmitted by waves. So some of the other things that are energy transmitted by waves, we've also got light. But sound travels a little bit slower than light. It goes about 767 miles per hour, or 1 mile in 4.7 seconds. And I'll tell you, that's just a little bit faster than Usain Bolt, I think, running 100 meters, but it's pretty fast. We measure sound using decibels, and the way that we actually detect sound is when those waves of energy enter inside our ear, we've got tiny, 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 tiny little hair inside our ears. Don't want to gross folks out, but those hairs start to vibrate, and those activate the bones inside our ears that transmit signals to our brain. And that's what allows us to interpret things like someone speaking on a Zoom video, listening to some great jazz music, which we've got a lot of here in New Orleans. So that's kind of the background on sound. So what does sound in our environment look like? And I think some of us, if we think about the sound inside our environments, we've got sort of places that we want quiet. You can think about maybe a library, your home, your bedroom, something like a recording studio. But then there's other times that we want the sound to be what we call live sound. And that's things like a concert theater where you really want to almost feel that music, right? You want it to be loud, you want it to be really vibrant, and that's a live sound space. And then the last one is a space where we want the opposite. We want dead sound, which allows us to hear things like a professor speaking really clearly. There's no reverberation. It's just really clear, crisp audio. And that's things like a classroom, for example. So how do we control sound? And we got something called the ABCDs. So first one, A is for absorb. And so if you're trying to reduce the reverberation or the reflection of sound inside a space, we can add things like drapes, like the curtains behind me here, soft surfaces like a carpet. You'll notice carpets versus a really hard wood or concrete floor, there's different sound qualities to that. Then also things like the ceiling tiles above you, whether that's got those, you've seen those ceilings with little tiny holes in it. Those little tiny holes help to absorb the sound. The sound kind of passes through that and is absorbed into the ceiling. That's what those holes are doing. So then we got the B, which is block. And I think anyone that's driven down the interstate, you've seen those walls on the side. What those are there for is to block the sound from the highway that's going into the neighborhoods there. So you can actually put up a wall that'll help sort of block the sound. It'll basically absorb that energy from the sound waves. Then we got the C, the cover up or control. And, I've got a picture of an elevator here. If you got elevator music playing and inside the elevator, it kind of distracts you from the sounds that are going on around you. And we actually will put, some of those really nice Beats headphones. Those have a noise canceling feature that sort of picks up the sound in the environment and produces an opposite sound that sort of cancels that out. So that's C for control. And then D for diffuse, and this is a pretty neat picture of a restaurant interior, but those panels on the ceiling that sort of in that crazy random pattern, that randomness actually helps to diffuse the sound. It sort of causes that sound energy to spread out and radiate in many different directions. And what's good about that is you don't get to, sometimes you don't really want to hear what the table next to you is having a conversation about something, not your business. So that diffusion of sound actually helps so that those conversations, there's some privacy in that space. And last thing here is we'll just talk quickly about sound transmission class. And this is a system that we as architects use to help describe how well a building component helps reduce the sound transmission. So that could be something like doors, windows, walls. Each of those different building components, we assign a STC rating to those, whether it's a STC 50 or 60, meaning it's got an excellent sound reduction property to it. So means the loud sounds aren't going to be heard very clearly, all the way down to a 20 to 25. So as the numbers go lower, the performance decreases. And so at 20 to 25, you're in very poor performance, and even someone just kind of whispering, you're going to be able to hear that conversation through a door, for example. So usually the higher the STC number, the better that component is at blocking that noise transmission. And that was all I had. So I'm gonna leave my email. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just reach out.
Thank you, Ryland, for that inspiring information. Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Roijairrian Bowman, like I said before, and I will be a facilitator for sound. Now, On our agenda today, we have our vocabulary terms, our objectives, activity questions. Then we're going to start on our Mardi Gras drums, as you can see here. And then we're going to answer some questions, okay? Now, with our vocabulary, we have sounds, vibrate, sound waves, and chain reaction. Sound is vibrations that travel throughout the air or other medium and can be heard through which reacts to animals and to other people's ears. Now, vibrate is to move or cause to move continuously and rapid throughout and to from. Now, sound waves are a type of energy that release when an object vibrates. Chain reaction is a chemical reaction or other process in which the products themselves promote or spread the reaction, which under certain conditions may spread simultaneously. Now, with our objectives, you will understand the meaning behind the physics of sound. The terms sound, vibrate, sound waves, and chain reaction will be covered. You will also learn how to make your own cool drums, just like mine. Now, let's keep in mind the questions of the day that we have here are: what causes vibrations? Can animals hear sound too? What kind of energy is released in some vibrations? Always remember it. Now, you guys, let's start on our drums. I'll give you a few seconds to get your materials. All right, the materials that we have here for today that you can use at home as well, I will list them. You can use tin can. You can use tin can, a mason jar like me, rubber bands, dowels, sticks, pencils, or a mallet if you have it. You know, some people have xylophones. I have some at home. Balloons, various of colors, different sizes, and also scissors. All right. Now, the science behind it is that sound comes from vibrations. When sound vibrates, it causes movement in the air that molecules surround it. These molecules vibrate and bump into each other, surrounding them, and that is called chain reaction. Movement is also called sound waves. The sound waves travel and vibrate, and this is what we hear. This happens until the molecules run out of energy, which means further away, and the sound waves stop, and then we won't hear anything. Now, let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our mason jar or our empty aluminum can. If you have an aluminum can, you want to make sure that you're cutting the top part of your can out and make sure there's nothing inside of it, okay? Make sure it's clean. If you want to take it to the sink, wash it out, it'll be fine, okay? Now, have our mason jar here or our can. Next, we're going to get our balloon. When we get our balloon, we're going to stretch it out as much as we can. Let's make sure we don't pop it or pop ourselves because it will hurt. Just know if you hear myself say ow, then I pop myself. Just don't do what I did. All right, now that we have it stretched out further enough, we're gonna get our scissor. We're gonna cut as much as we can on the balloon, let's say around the neck. As you can see here, looks like a little hat, doesn't it? Now, you're gonna make sure you stretch it out really good. Put your fingers inside, make it look like a cap. And we're gonna stretch it over our can or a mason jar as much as you can. You wanna make it real tight. Once you make it real tight, make sure it's firm around the edges, like so. We're gonna get our rubber band, stretch it out. You gotta realize we're dealing with rubber here. Stretch it out, put it over the rim. And if you wanna make it tight, just like I like to, double. We have it here. Now, to test it out, you can tap on it with your finger, as you can hear. Sounds really good. Now, if you don't have any sound at all, you can try to fix it by taking the rubber band back off and also the balloon. Stretch it out some more, and then just stretch it further around the lid. You still want to make sure it's tight. The reason of you not being able to hear sound is because it's too loose. You want to have a lot of tension inside the balloon so you can hear the vibrations, have vibrations running. Okay. Now, we're going to move over to our next one. Get our small one. Going to do the same thing. Stretch out our balloon. Oh boy, I hope I don't pop myself this time. I was lucky the first time. Get our scissor. Stretch it out again. Rubber band. Bow. Hey, I like that. Now, we have our drums. I might have more than you, but it's okay. We can still all tune and rock out. Now we get our mallets, our sticks, and we just rock out away. Sound cool, doesn't it? All right. That was fun. Now, you guys remember the questions that I was asking about earlier? I hope you was paying attention. If not, it's okay. We can run through it. Now, the first question that we have is, what causes vibrations? Can you answer it? All right. The answer is chain reaction. It's okay if you don't have it right. Just chain reaction. Chain reaction causes vibrations. Now, our next question. Can animals hear sound too? What do you think? Yes, of course they can. Animals can hear any and everything just like me and you. Now, our final question. What kind of energy is released when something vibrates? Give you a few seconds. Right, sound waves. Awesome. I see that some of you paid attention. Nice. Well, do you have any questions for me, you guys? No? Yes? It's okay. Well, don't be afraid to send us some pictures at our webinar at STEMNOLA.com. Don't be afraid to show me your drums and show me a video of you rocking out. Also, we have an event Thursday, February 24th, 2022 at 4 p.m. Come join us, and we're making Mardi Gras floats. All right, guys. See you.